Everyone factoring into the first European Outlook of 2015. We've had a little bit of a rest with European Outlook over the past couple of weeks because in Christmas, of course, so I haven't done it for a couple of weeks. Last update we did before Christmas was very mild across many parts of Europe. It's turned colder across many areas over the Christmas and New Year period. It's very cold over in the east of Europe at the moment and will be through the course of the first half this week anyway, but things will moderate later on in the week as milder stormy conditions return from the Atlantic Ocean. But quite an interesting week coming up, quite a changeable week. Hope you all had a lovely Christmas by the way and New Year period. Hopefully now the European Outlook will be with us uninterrupted for the next few weeks and months. Anyway, so before I get on with European Outlook, just say about the ads. There's links to articles on most pages at GazWeather.com. Have a browse with widgets. Any articles that you're interested in, just click through. And thanks so much for doing that. Also, the website we're using for European Outlook is westend.de. Find links at our links page. So this is the stock-tip pressure chart today, and we've got high pressure here sitting across central parts of Europe. It's given quite a cold weekend out here in the west of Europe, but it's declining into central Europe now with milder air beginning to move in off the Atlantic into the north and west. On the eastern side of this high pressure, we're putting down northerly winds into the east and the southeast of Europe. Bitterly cold air feeding down into the southeast and the east of Europe. So a real east-west split, in fact, with the upper air temperatures today. Mild upper air temperatures in many central west areas, because it's not that mild on the surface. Underneath this area of high pressure, it's relatively cold, but it's in the west, but we've got the mild upper air temperatures to the east of Europe, really from Scandinavia going down into western Russia and down into the northeast Europe and then through the east and down into southeast Europe. Very cold northerly winds feeding through down there. The dew points show that we've got bitterly cold air up in the northeast Europe. That will be sinking southwards into many east and southeast parts of Europe through the middle part of the week. But it's generally a cold scene throughout much of the east of Europe. It is a good deal milder out in the west. So we've got some snow here across southern parts of Germany and Poland and stretching down in towards parts of the Balkans as well. Much of it is light, but it will be enough to give a covering in places. The main snow flow is really under that very cold air up to northeast Europe. Some heavy showers or thunderstorms down across Greece. Could be some winteriness in some of those. Many central west areas actually largely dry, and then we come into this rain coming in towards Scotland, Ireland, and also some snow heading in towards parts of Norway. The temperatures today show that really from Germany eastwards they're going to be around or below freezing all day, particularly cold in the east and southeast Europe. The Balkans, for instance, seeing maximum today just -3, -4, -5 degrees. It's much milder out in the west though. Ireland is going to be up to 10 Celsius, United Kingdom up to around 7 or 8 Celsius, France up to around 5 Celsius in the east, but 10 or 11 in the west, and then most of the central west parts, Mediterranean, also on the mild side as well. Now, as we move through into the middle part of the week, the high pressure is declining further in towards the east and southeast Europe, and trapped underneath that high pressure, going to be some bitterly cold air, so really severe frosts and freezing cold temperatures across eastern and even down in southeastern parts of Europe through the middle part of the week. Conversely, the northwest will be turning much milder if this deep Atlantic storm gets going around Iceland. That's going to be blasting much milder temperatures and heavy rain and strong winds into many northern and western parts of Europe through the middle part of the week. So there's the extent of the cold in the east of Europe through the middle of the week, sinking down from Russia into the many eastern parts of Europe and going down in towards Greece and Turkey as well. There could well be some severe frost in this eastern part, but the continent, particularly as you go towards the northeast around the Russian border, some very, very severely cold weather up there through the middle of the week. Central west areas though is going to be a much milder scene, particularly in the northwest around the United Kingdom, Ireland, down towards France, where we've got that strong southwesterly wind setting up. Notice that much of Scandinavia is also turning pretty mild with those upper air temperatures, although the dew points are still relatively cold, as you would expect, across many parts of Scandinavia. But look how cold the dew points are across many eastern parts of Europe through the middle part of the week. That really is indicative of some very severe cold temperatures here across the east of Europe. It's not going to last all that long. Those westerlies will push that out of the way by the end of the week, but certainly around middle part of the week, severely cold in the east. Much milder out in the west of Europe. Wet and windy here for United Kingdom excuse me, and also Ireland. That rain will turn to snow as it heads in towards parts of Europe. It's mainly dry weather, really. There's a few sort of wintry showers here across central parts of Europe, and mainly rain, of course, which come into the Low Countries and France. Some snow flurries, mainly light across parts of Finland, perhaps, and down in towards Estonia. But the bulk of the time, it's going to be very dry, I think, through the middle part of the week. Just severely cold, which you get down to southeast Europe. And there could be snow flurries here down in the far southeast. So, yeah, look at the temperatures. It's very mild out in the west. Many western parts of Europe, Ireland, Britain, France, going to be seeing temperatures into double figures through the middle part of the week. But over in the east, severely cold. Look at that. Maximums are just -7, -8, -9, -10 for many eastern parts of Europe as we're going through in towards the latter stages or the middle stages of the week. Now, for into the latter stages of the week, that very cold air is going to be displaced as these westerlies from the Atlantic feed right way through in towards the east of Europe. We've got a classic sort of north-south split, really, low pressure to the north, high pressure around Spain and Portugal, and in between we're feeding those strong westerlies through. So the severe cold upper air temperatures in the East Europe are being pushed back into central parts of Russia as we get through in towards the end of the week, with much milder air generally feeding through, and very, very mild potentially across parts of the west of Europe, particularly southern parts of England and northern France. Exceptionally mild upper air temperatures with that long fetch west to south westerly at the end of the week. Dew points much more less intensely cold in the east of Europe as we get through to the end of the week. The severe cold dew points are being forced back in towards Russia. So yeah, good moderation of those temperatures by the time we get through to the end of the week. Those westerlies coming through, mildest of course, where we've got that west to south westerly flow out in the west. So we've got a mix of snow here in the east of Europe, which will be forcing that cold backwards. There will be outbreaks of snow on a weather system producing that change to milder conditions. But for many central western parts of Europe, most of this is going to be rain actually, as those westerlies to south westerlies come in, particularly wet, potentially for the United Kingdom, also for France, parts of the Low Countries in towards Germany as well. Mostly dry through the Mediterranean. Going to be quite a nice week through the Med, I have to say. And then down into the southeast Europe, the temperatures will be lifting up as well for Greece, although there could be a few showers breaking out across southern parts of Italy. So the temperatures at the end of the week show that it's still pretty cold in the east, really, but it's less intensely cold than it is through the middle part of the week. But it's a bit of a slow process to lift that frost up out of the ground, of course. So even though it's less cold, temperatures are still sort of just 1, 2, 3 degrees. But the severe sub-zero temperatures are being forced back in towards Russia, and it's very mild out in the west. Ireland and the UK could be up to 13 or 14 degrees on Friday, into the mid to upper 50s Fahrenheit. That also extends down to many central western parts of France as well. And then finally going through to next weekend, well, we're going to bring cooler air back into the northwest actually, with this trough setting up over Scandinavia, quite a deep trough. It's going to start to pull very cold air back in towards Scandinavia. Otherwise, we're still in that sort of westerly flow, so temperatures are going to be holding up relatively well. The upper air temperatures show cold air begins to dig back in towards Scandinavia, and also into some central western parts of Europe as well. The warmest temperatures will be through the Med and down into the southeast of Europe around Greece by the time you get through to the to next weekend. The dew points, well, they're relatively cool, of course, because it's continental landmass, but not desperately cold by the time you get through to next weekend. Generally, the temperatures will be moderating, although it is turning colder across Scandinavia. Quite a lot of heavy rain through central parts of Europe next weekend, so that could turn wintry as that cold air begins to dig back in from Scandinavia. And in terms of the temperatures, well, they're going to be around low to mid single digits, really, so 2, 3, 4, 5 degrees for many parts of Europe. It's turning cold, you can't see it, but it is turning cold across Scandinavia. But very extreme mild temperatures in the west and northwest of Europe for Ireland, Britain, France will be lowering as well as we go through to next weekend, going back towards the seasonal average. For highest temperatures through the Mediterranean, going to be a very nice week through the Med. I think somewhere like Sardinia or maybe Mallorca could be a very nice place to go if you want a little bit of winter sunshine this week. But in summary, it's going to be very cold in the east of Europe through the middle part of the week, early middle part of the week. As we get through towards the end of the week, the temperatures will be lifting up from the west, so it's going to turn less cold, get rid of the severe cold temperatures that we're going to have in the east of Europe. Very changeable as well. And out to west, it's going to be a very mild week coming up. That's all for now, and thanks for watching.